And we are back. Hello, Lori. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. So if you have not, if you're new to the channel, this is Lori. She's a psychic medium. I'm Linda. I don't really know what I am. I can't really describe what I do. I do a whole lot of different things. I love the
Me too.
Akashic records, which we need to do. We still have to do that.
Yep.
Um, And so Lori's a psychic medium and she's phenomenal. If you want, your website is Psychic Touch at, oh
At
my gosh, I just drew a complete blank.
that
And
Outlook
no, www.psychictouch.com.
dot
Here
com.
we go. There we go. Oh my
That's
gosh. Or is it
hilarious.
CA? I'm gonna have to
We'll have to get back to you on that one.
we got I
So
I I I did the work on the website. I can't remember anything. So
it's so
I
funny.
think because of the conversation that we just had, my mind just went woof over here. But
Yeah.
okay, so tonight's topic, I love this topic so much, and the reason I love it, I'm not an expert. I can't, I can't be the one to explain why it happens, but I
Mhm.
can be that person to say, "Oh my God, this just happened to me." I have had just experiences that are mind blowing and to the point where I'm out of body in three different ways. So my body will separate three ways,
Mhm.
and we're all very aware of each existence.
Mhm.
So our topic is lucid dreaming, and I'm finding a lot of people are coming and saying, "Hey, I just had this weird dream." So right now, I don't know if you noticed my background is a little bit different. So I'm house sitting for my cousin.
Mhm.
And a few years ago, when I first started staying here, I had actually one of our other cousins in Manitoba. She had passed away, and but I got the lovely chance of having a conversation with her before she passed away. She had cancer, and it was very aggressive and very fast. And so it was a nice, lighthearted conversation. And I asked her, "Hey, what are you going to do when you get to the other side?" And she's like, "I'm going to come and visit you. That's what I'm going to do." And so a couple of days after she had passed, I'm laying in bed and I've got this giant dog at the end of my bed. And I woke up and I could see this angelic figure standing at the foot of my bed, and she just kind of reached down. I say she because it was very feminine energy. Reached down and touched the dog's paw, and he picked his head up and looked at her and just jumped off the bed, very quietly jumped off the bed. Okay. And I thought, was that you? So I'm wide awake. I go upstairs.
Mhm.
I use the washroom, and I come downstairs, and the whole time I'm singing in my head Dolly Parton's "Coat of Many Colors." And actually, that's what actually woke me up was that song, "Coat of Many Colors." And I remember being in this dream and singing it, and I thought, wow, that's so weird. Why am I singing this song? I haven't sang that for years. And then I remembered that it was one of my mother's favorite songs. And my aunt Brenda, who was my cousin's mother, and they were huge Dolly Parton fans. Anyway, so I go upstairs, I use the washroom. On my way back downstairs, I said, "Deb, was that you?" And then there's that song again in my head, "Going Many
Mhm.
Colors." I get up the next morning and I'm sitting here at the table, I'm having my coffee, and my cousin comes out, and I said, "I had a weird dream last night." She's like, "Oh, thank God, so did I." She said, and she said it was so real. She got out of bed because she heard somebody knocking at the door, and she went and she opened the door, and there was nobody there. But after she closed the door and went back to bed, she realized she never got out of bed at all. That was what you call a lucid dream. So a lucid dream, and I know you know more about this than I do. A lucid dream is when you are dreaming, but you're very aware that you're
Mhm.
dreaming. You're very aware that you are out of your body and you're doing things, and so you can go to the kitchen and you can move a cup into a certain spot, and it probably should be there when you wake up in the morning. So, I've got so many fascinating stories on my own personal lucid dreaming, but I'm gonna leave that up to you. What do you have to say about it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So when people meet me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're a psychic medium." Wow. I go so much beyond that. Like I'm a healer, I'm an energy reader, but my favorite thing to do is channeling. And when I was a very young child, um, the first thing I did was channel. And so there's a lot of different connotations to channeling because there's a lot of people that believe channeling is bringing in evil spirits, and that's not what it is. That's exactly what lucid dreaming is as well. You're kind of bringing in your own spirit and you're dividing yourself up. So you're walking in different worlds at different points in time. So you're halfway between sleep and awake, right? Channeling, we'll have to do that at a different time too, but it's very much similar. So what you were talking about, you're kind of channeling in a moment in time that you had when you were remembering the code of many colors. And what I wanted to say was when I was in grade 10, I was in a musical called Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yes.
And so I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Hmm.
And I still remember every word to every song in that musical, but I cannot tell you what I had for supper last week unless it was good.
Well, I can't even name your website.
Yeah.
And I was there today. And I was there today.
Oh my God, that's so funny. To me, I don't even matter. Um, so here's what I got to say about lucid dreaming. I've had so many different experiences, but this is actually how I do my past life regressions as well. And soul retrievals. Soul retrievals is very similar to lucid dreaming. We call it lucid dreaming because we're not quite sure if we're walking in reality or are we walking in a dream. We feel like we're there and you're like, okay, I'm here. My body is here, but I'm not here completely. My spirit is here. And that's what you do. Yeah, that's what you do with astral travel. Mhm.
Right. Okay, sorry about that. We had a little explosive barking issue here with puppies,
Mhm.
and so I'm so sorry to interrupt you. You were on a roll. What can you
That's
remember where you
okay.
were?
I was gonna say my last week we got introduced to my cat that kept walking across the screen and wanted to be the center of attention. So
They're eating cookies right now.
you can see that. They're excited.
Yeah.
So I guess what I was gonna say about lucid dreaming is that if people really kind of want to know exactly what it is, every single person has had a lucid dream in their lifetime, least, at least two, at least. But kind of what it is the that when you're dreaming, you go into a different state, right? We're actually in a different dimension when we're dreaming. But lucid dreaming is that connection between the world that we walk in and that other world that we walk in. So this between the place between dreaming and awake. So that would be your subconscious, but that's where we dream as well. So it's like that's why you're divided into three spots, right? We had mentioned earlier, your real, your body, your spirit, and then your mind and subconscious. You're divided into three of them. So it is like when you have a dream, like I've had a dream. And I was on the phone with my mom when this was happening. I called her because I freaked out. It's the first time it ever happened to me. And I'm watching a TV show, and it was this old TVs that the channels change. You had to get up and change channel. And it was the first time, and I think I was about 12. And I felt myself walk over and change the channel. And when I
Mm-hmm.
turned back, my body was sitting on the couch, but my spirit was turning the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally looking at myself. And so, that was a kind of my mom was like, "Oh, that's an out of body experience." I'm like, "No, I'm not quite awake. I'm not quite awake, but I'm not quite asleep either. I'm right in between." So as I'm talking to her on the phone, she's trying to talk her 12-year-old through having a lucid dream. And I literally left my body, my spirit left the body, watched myself get up and still have my brain capacity to go back over and change the channel back again. Because, of course, that was before remote controls. And then start arguing with myself because I wanted my spirit to go back into my body. And I wanted to, you're right, there was three of us. Sometimes there's two, but most of the time there's three. Or not most of the time. Most of the time there's two, but sometimes there's three. And so my mind was having a discussion with my spirit that was having a discussion with my body. So there were three of us are talking, and I realized that this is not normal. And so I'm on the phone with my mom, and my mom is yelling at me to come back into my body. And she's at work, and there's people at her work listening to her going, what the hell is going on with her? So
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being about 12 years old and experiencing that, and then getting back into my body. It probably lasted 4 or 5 minutes. And then I got back and realized that I was not even watching the same program as I was watching in the beginning. And I don't remember what show it was. I wish I could. I wish I could have give that much detail that I could remember the program, but it was probably something silly on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yes.
was the first time. And what was scary about it was that we're told all of our lives that if we leave our body, then anything can jump into our body. That's what I've always been taught. Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
your spirit leaves your body. You don't want to do that because then it leaves it for something not so great. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. And that, because you still have your spirit, you still, there's a lot of things that have to take place for that to happen. Which is why I mentioned about channeling earlier, because lucid dreaming and channeling are very similar. Okay.
Yes.
Channeling is calling something back in or calling something in, not really calling something in, but getting that spirit to speak to you, but it's a different spirit. Well, channeling can also be calling your own spirit back in again.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope all that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah. And when I realized that it was, have you ever had, and if you're listening here and you've had this experience, please let us know, because it's scary. It is so scary when it first
Mm.
happens, when you're laying in bed, you're sound asleep, and then all of a sudden you feel somebody sit on the side of your bed and lay
Oh,
on
yes.
top of you. That is terrifying.
So
And
that has
uh,
happened to me during
yes,
COVID.
and what I found out was it's not a spirit, it's not a ghost in the house. And if you know me, you know I don't believe in ghosts. It's not like the ghost in the house sitting on you and trying to, or an alien. It's not that. It's you coming back to your body, because
That's
maybe
right.
you got to get up and go to the bathroom. Your body is still corporeal. You still have things that you need to do. And you're like, oh, you know what? I'm halfway across town. I better get home because my body's gonna.
Right.
Yes.
And that's when we're traveling. And in our dreams, we have a tendency to travel. And pretty much everybody astral travels. And we travel different times, different dimensions, and so on. And so lucid dreaming is about our experiences as this is happening to us in real life time. It's like we're live streaming our own dream.
Mhm.
Uh, I I believe what happens, like my brain just left. Like literally, I just watched my brain walk out the door and go, boom, I'm closed for the day, closed on that thought. I just remember you talking about how, have you ever had the experience of someone sitting on the bed? I've had that experience during COVID. And that when I did get COVID and I had lost all six of my senses,
Mhm.
I couldn't see. My eyes were like always foggy. My smeller had gone. I couldn't taste. My hearing was, I kept having ringing in my ear, and I had massive ear infections. I had an ear infection for almost 7 months.
Mhm.
Um, and then my sense of touch, people were like, what? My sense of touch is still not 100% back because my
Mhm.
fingers are really um, sensitive and they get numb really easily, like it pins and
Mhm.
needles. But the one thing was that I thought that we always say in our culture, my culture, somebody put a witch on me or the
Mhm.
tricksters on me. because it's when our body is the most vulnerable, and it's usually somebody else that you hear when you say that. Like somebody had what I said, put a witch on me. They thought that I was the one that gave them COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that power. Like,
No.
dude, I didn't have that power or what for whatever illness that it was. But I did lose all of my sense. So the sixth sense, they were trying to take that from me. So they knew that that was when I was the most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought this spirit in and jumped right on top of me. And then that's when they dragged me down to hell.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I had met the devil. And he had told me that I was like queen of the dimensions. And I had already found that. I had already knew that. Somebody had already told me that before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, whatever. Like y'all are just crazy. I'm not the queen. They're crazy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
the devil and they're crazy. Like whatever. Um, and so when I came back into my body, it was the same heaviness, the same
Mm-hmm.
breath. So it does make sense when you say it's yourself, but at the same time, I do believe that there are things that you can that do that to you as well. Like that's a sleep paralysis,
Yes.
and in between that, but our culture believe they have a whole other set of beliefs. And you know what? That would be a really, really good topic to do is on legends and superstitions and so on
Yes.
that
Yes.
have come
I
true.
yes, absolutely.
Because my culture, there is something that we don't whistle at night.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, but okay.
Oh boy, there's a
There's some.
huge legend around that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to mention that to a Mi'kmaq person or a an indigenous person in general, they would be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, don't whistle!" Like
Don't whistle. Yes.
at night with the lights off. It's
Mm-hmm.
no, no,
Well,
no,
I
no.
do I do see a lot of Mi'kmaq people at the place where I work. And I would say it's probably about 50% of our clients, or not
Yeah, you're
our
up by
customers that
Shuby.
come through. And
Oh, you're they're down by Millbrook Street Harbor, right?
Shubenacadie.
Yeah, Shuby. Okay, up by Shuby.
Yes.
That's where my
Yes.
people are. My people, my family
My
is
people.
from
Yeah.
Shuby. My dad
Yeah.
lived in Shuby for until right up until his death. So,
Yeah. We don't have time to get into those in-depth conversations. So
no, no,
I would
no.
I would love to, but I only ever had one man help me pronounce the Mi'kmaq for Shubenacadie. But
Baganagity. It's a Baganag.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And he
Ours
made
is
it. He
yeah.
made me say it one syllable at a time and then say it fast. And it's like,
It
okay, now you got
really helps when they do that because you're going to hear Sabaganagity or Sabaganagity. It's no, no,
it. Or
no,
I've
no.
heard Sipakinea.
Yeah,
Sipakinea critique.
yeah,
That's yeah.
Sabaganagity depends on where you're emphasizing it.
Yes.
Ours is Wassahoba,
Okay.
people of the bright water.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's interesting, but yeah, I will take you to Shuby someday and show you around and
Yes. I haven't
even
been there
go
since I was a kid.
oh yeah, and get well. We have sweat lodges here. We have my sister's actually building a sweat lodge next door in March, so
Hmm.
you can come down and visit us, and we'll immerse you. We'll immerse
Oh,
you.
nice. Nice.
But there's so many legends. I think that we need to do definitely a topic on that and bring in people
Absolutely.
who needs to, yeah. But let's get back to lucid dreaming because I'm a
Lucid
little.
dreaming. I know.
See, I just
We're
went through a
over.
lucid dream right there,
We did.
dividing myself into three. Um, right. There's been a couple of other times when I've had lucid dreamings, and sometimes they're not as pleasant as you would like them to be. Like most of them are okay, right? Where you're like, uh, you're having a dream, and it's like you're walking in this dream, and it's really nice. You're walking in a field, and you see this, but you know that if you were to look in a mirror, you would see your face,
Hmm.
see your body,
Hmm.
but you wouldn't see your spirit. It's not saying that
Hmm.
your spirit has left your body. It's just that you're like, okay, this is me, but is it me?
Hmm.
Okay. Or you might see a different face. Whenever I do my lucid dreaming, I try to see if I can see my face because
Hmm.
I want to know if this is a past life dream or is this a me dream?
Hmm.
Or, and I'm going to throw this one out here, is this my spirit dream? Because our
Hmm.
spirit looks very different than what our body looks like.
Hmm.
So, to see what your face looks like. And if you don't see your face, that's okay too. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything
It
weird.
be scary. Yeah.
It can be. But lucid dreaming. Okay. So I have a story for you. It's a little bit frightening. But I've walked into murder scenes in the middle of my lucid dreams. Um, I've channeled serial killer, been inside his mind, which was really, I didn't do it myself. I would have, this is probably the most terrifying dream I've ever had in my entire life. And I can remember every step. And see, when I'm talking, I'm like talking so fast, I got to take a breath because it's like I want
Yes.
to get through this so bad.
Anxiety. I can feel your anxiety
I
from
am totally, I have
yeah.
total anxiety, totally ADHD. We were just having this conversation about things that, not disorders, but mental differences,
Hmm.
neurological differences, and what makes them right or wrong or not wrong. You know what I mean?
Schizophrenia and bipolar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bipolar. I have family members that have bipolar disorder and OCD, and I have like I
Autism.
myself,
Yeah.
yeah, I have ADHD, I have isms, I have ADHD,
Yeah.
I have anxiety, right? So does my son. He has both of those as well. Testing him for autism. So
Hmm.
perhaps I just think that that means you're functioning on a very
Different
different
level.
level,
Yeah. Doesn't
right?
mean you're
Your
bad.
brain is already
Yeah.
covered everything it needed to cover in the human world. So it's like, all
Hmm.
right, let's just sit here and be bored.
Hmm.
So, um, trying to skip over this, right?
I
So
know.
I just
I'm
wanted
trying to bring
to,
you back there to that. I know that I don't know if I know the story, but I do know that it is bringing some anxiety up
yeah.
right now.
So there's been a couple times and I've had dreams, but this one here is really terrifying. And I just really wanted to put out there a trigger warning for people because I'm going to talk about serial killer. I'm going to talk about people who things being drug in. The, did I think I talked about this one before, the griffin and all that kind of stuff?
No, but I think you've told me.
Okay. Did we
You've
talk
told
about
me
that
about
one?
it.
About
Yeah.
that happened a few weeks ago? Is that the one?
Oh, no, no, actually, no, you haven't.
Okay. So I'm not sure what one that you're talking about. Not the one about the little boy. I told you about that story, right?
Yeah. No, no. No, this was a while ago. You were talking
Okay. What was that one? Oh my God, I had so
about. I honestly, I can't remember.
many of them. Okay.
It was yeah, a serial killer.
Yeah, I actually have had. Okay, so this one here, the serial killer one that I've had, there, there's been a couple of them. One recently about a little boy, and I was faced with like watching this little boy further with that. But what had actually happened was how I got out of this was I stood up and I'm like, I'm not going to allow myself to be a victim. I'm
Hmm.
not going to allow myself to be a victim. And I'm like, how can I step back and change what just happened? So whether this really happened in real life, don't know. So I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there going, if this is a dream, I can control this dream. So if I can control it, I can go back. So I go back and I'm like, all right, let me go back to where I am at the street light and I know what's coming. So I
Hmm.
kind of take my soul back there. I pick up my body. I take myself, the spirit part of it, all the ways back there. And I go back and I'm standing there underneath these lights. And I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I can smell them. Turn around and I take a pen out of my purse and I just stab him in the shoulder. And he
Hmm.
falls to the ground. And I run as fast as I can. And I'm running in the rain and I'm turning behind me. And I'm back to exactly the same spot as I was back to before.
Hmm.
So I'm walking, I'm running in a circle, but I'm also feeling very calm and very serene and
Hmm.
like I'm back again. And I'm like,
Hmm.
all right, I'm gonna call myself back. I'm calling myself back. It's like I just gotta wake up. I gotta wake up. I gotta wake up. I gotta wake up. I gotta wake up.
Hmm.
And I open up my eyes and I'm awake.
Yes.
And I'm like, whoo. And then I could still
Yeah.
see pieces of my spirit trying to come back in. So I don't know if that's an actual thing that had happened that I was witnessing because I have had moments like that where it's actually a serial killer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that wasn't the story that I told you.
Yeah.
That was
No, I
one
know. I not that. That's pretty. Wow.
I told you. We might want to take that out of the video, actually.
Uh, I might bleep out a few words.
Okay. Yeah,
because
the blood.
yeah, and that was a pretty intense experience. Now, my question is, and you're probably questioning the same way, was it an actual lucid dream? Was it somebody else's memory? Was it something that was pulled from the Akashic records and given to you as a
Mhm.
test? You know,
That's
was
a
it
really good
that?
question because I asked that because there has been a number of times in my life where I've been a carrier of people's memories and people's dreams. And
Yeah.
um, I carried memories of people for a long time, and I've actually unloaded a few of those memories on another person that reads cards. At one point in time, they told me it
Mm-hmm.
was their daughter's memories of
Mm-hmm.
what had happened to her. So um, I asked that question, and that's why I'm questioning, did it actually happen?
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that happened in my Akashic, that I had to, you're right, a test in
The
my,
healing. Was
the
it a
healing.
healing experience?
Right, because I've had my shamanic dreaming. I've had the healing
Mm-hmm.
experience where my entire body was cut to death, and I was, like
Yeah.
lots of glass and all that kind of stuff. And then I healed my entire body when
Mm-hmm.
I woke up, and they call that a shamanic dreaming. We
Mm-hmm.
would not really call it that at all, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what people
Yeah.
remember.
It's
So
like the experience that I had, sleeping in on a strange mountain in West Virginia all by myself for 2 days, well, 3 days and 2 nights. I was there, and yeah, I had some. Well, I did a video on it because I knew I would forget everything, but yeah, it was very shamanic in nature. um, what was I gonna say? You know, so the lucid dreams that I'm having, and the only reason I know that these are lucid dreams is because I read. Have you ever heard of Robert Waggoner?
yep,
Okay. So I read his book, and I'm not a reader. I have so
I'm
many
not a
books,
reader
and I
either.
don't read. I can't. I'll get a paragraph in and think, okay, well, I know the rest. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
Because if I can read the first paragraph, last paragraph, I'll just fill in the rest of stuff.
right. However you want.
Anyway, Robert Wagner was being interviewed by my friends in Las Vegas, and I was on the phone with somebody who turned out, oddly enough, to be a spirit guide, one of my guides.
Mhm.
And I'm on the phone with her, and I said, "Oh, you know what? The show is about to start because we listen to the same show." I said, "The show's going to start in about 4 hours, and I haven't had any sleep yet because the show came out at midnight, and I need to sleep because I have to work in the morning." Anyway, I picked up Robert Wagner's book and I read it in an hour. I just devoured. I'm like, wow, I love this stuff. I go to sleep, wake up, and I listen to his whole interview. Anyway, so that's a little plug for me. I love him so much. Um, what I see, and I don't know if this is dreaming, but sometimes I'll be sound asleep and something will shake my bed, and I'll open up one eye and I'll see, like, behind me, the whole room will be illuminated in
Mm.
orange or yellow or beautiful, warm, inviting colors. And I'll know, and it just feels like, oh, it really does. And so, and it just gives me the peace of mind to get back to sleep. The
That is a lucid dream, by the way, because dreaming is being in a different state of mind. And that's our conscious, our subconscious mind. So when you wake up and you're seeing all these colors, that's the dimension that you're seeing. That's that part of your subconscious brain.
mm-hmm,
Now, we use more than 10% of our brain. We possibly use almost 20% of our brain. Our
mm-hmm,
consciousness is 20%, as opposed to 10% that we originally thought.
mm-hmm,
So will we ever use 100%? No. My thoughts are that maybe what aliens use is the ability to use 100% of the brain. Maybe
mm-hmm,
that's why
mm-hmm,
they're so advanced. Who knows? But that was definitely a lucid dream for you.
mm-hmm.
And the
Well,
dream that I had may not have been a lucid dream.
it
It
it could have been an astral projection.
And it could likely have been a
or
past life dream, or
yeah.
could have been somebody else's dream
Hmm.
as well, because that's also where I do my healing is in other people's dreams, or I do my
Yeah.
healing that portions of it to make sure that that person is thought of differently or whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Hmm.
but
I woke up. This
likely
was
it was a Lucis.
well a couple weeks ago, and you've heard of finding dimes and pennies
Yep.
from heaven and the cardinal stuff. And I woke up and I saw the light, like it was just reflecting on the wall in front of me.
Mhm.
I just when I wake up, I always open just one eye to make sure that there's nothing coming out of the room. I always say, my room is off limits, not in the bedroom.
Mhm.
But sometimes somebody will, and I'll always open one eye and I'll look at this wall over here, and this wall will be lit up because there's something going on over here. This
Mhm.
light is illuminating. Anyway, and somebody said, hold out your hand. And I held out my hand and somebody put a dime in my hand.
Mhm.
And I just like, thank you so, so much. And I held on to this dime. And when I woke up in the morning, like I went back to sleep, and when I woke up in the morning, I still had my hand like that. And I thought, if there's a dime in my hand, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And of course there was no dime in my hand,
Right.
but it was, I could feel that dime. It was
Mhm.
that clear.
That real, that clear, and it was real. It's an actual dime that was in your hand, just not the physical dime that you have now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so go
Sorry,
ahead.
can I add? I'm just gonna add a little bit more. So the following night,
Mhm.
I dreamt that I went to the mailbox, and it was the mailbox here. Like I have my mail coming to this address. And so
Mhm.
I'm at this mailbox, and I made this mailbox grow because I
Mhm.
knew that there was going to be a lot of mail. And so so this mailbox is just a typical rural green mailbox. It's a big, heavy plastic one. And what I did was I stood in front of it and I made it grow like probably 2 stories high, and I opened it up, and here's all these packages and all these envelopes and all these gifts. And so because I opened the door, I jarred something loose, and so everything's like falling off shelves and stuff. So all these gifts in, and I thought, now I just got chills. I don't know who sent me all these gifts, but I couldn't feel more gratitude in my life. That was just the most amazing feeling to
Nice.
see, like, wow, one person did all this for me. Wow.
Mm.
I don't know what there was. I didn't open any of the packages or the envelopes. I didn't, but I knew that somebody had gifted me this amazing abundance of things. And I'm
This,
not about things. I'm all about things from the heart. That's who I am. But somebody thought that much of me, and it was just such a beautiful thing.
I think that's absolutely amazing. I think like when as we're talking about this, and I'm thinking about lucid dreams, and I'm like, look, I'm the girl that looks up the definition too. What does that mean, right? And they're like lucid dreaming scientifically is your brain still pulling the activities back or whatever
Hmm.
they're basically
Yes.
saying. Basically, what it is the connection between your spirit and your brain and your body.
Hmm.
That's the connection between the three of them. Um, a good lucid dream that I've heard of my clients having. So as we're talking about it, I'm thinking a lot of dreams are lucid dreams and a lot of them are not lucid dreams. Like when we're sitting here describing them, walking through them, we're like, huh, is that a true lucid dream or is it not? And then you're like, is that a past life dream? Is that a, so we'll just call it a dream. Because lucid dreaming is like there, if you look up the true definition of it, it's not healthy, it's not unhealthy, it's not good, it's not bad. It's being present in three different forms or two different forms. So
Hmm.
being physically present, watching yourself or feeling yourself that you are there and this is happening to you. I've had
Hmm.
some amazing lucid dreams that are really great. Like I've had some dreams where I've been walking on the beach and I'm watching the whales
Yes.
spouting water everywhere. And it's a lucid dream because I'm like physically there and I can feel the water on my toes and I can
Mm-hmm.
feel the water that they're squirting out and just loving it and bathing and basking in it.
Mm-hmm.
Feel my body there. And then I look and my spirit is doing exactly the same thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
like, and then I'm also understanding that this isn't real. Like it's
Yeah,
not real, but it is real. It's
it
real,
is real.
that
Yes.
reality, right? So it's the different form of reality.
Mm-hmm.
But I want people to know, and this is what I think we will probably block out a whole bunch of that video because I would feel a lot better if we did that. But what
Yes.
I want people to know is that you can control that. So if you get into a dream that you're like, is this like, I get this people saying a lot, like I met my grandfather in my dream. That's absolutely a real dream. Absolutely. And that's the easiest part for them to come to visit is through that energy in your
Mm-hmm.
subconscious. It's so easy. It's the easiest spot. Now, some of them, some of the spirits, they don't know how to do that. Doesn't matter. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't say, I've had a lot of clients say, well, they've never visited me, am I not special? Don't matter. That's a different story, different time, different place. When you're doing that or when you're visiting them and you can control pieces of that dream. So you
Mm-hmm.
can control and that's how you know that it's a lucid dream because you're like, I can control this. I can control this situation and just basically will yourself awake. If you're not in a great situation, if you are in a good situation and you kind of like don't want it to end, you don't want the hug to end, or
Mm-hmm.
you don't want that conversation to end that you're having, you
Mm-hmm.
can change that too. You can say you can't sit there forever. You can't sit there for longer than a few minutes, but you can change that. You can say, all right, can you hug me? Or can you, and then you can also wake yourself up. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want people to know is that you can always get out of that and you can call your spirit back into your body or you can call your body back to where you're at. If you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're in any danger, if you feel like you just want to carry on this moment forever, you can do that as well. But just be
Mm-hmm.
very much aware that you have to call your body back at some point in time. So if you got into a
Yes.
situation and you want to change that, that's what a lucid dream is as well. So it's a little easier to get out of that lucid dream than it is to get out
Mm-hmm.
of a regular dream.
It is, yes. And if you don't call your body, I mean, we are incarnated in this body for a
Mhm.
reason. We've
Right,
got our soul contracts. We have to
right.
fulfill them. If we don't fulfill, what do we
Hmm.
do? We got to repeat. Yes,
Yeah.
we got to
And
repeat and we got to. So you're in that lucid dream. You got to come back and you got to finish your job.
you got to come finish that. And not just that, if we don't call it back, it's going to get called back for us, which means that
Hmm.
our body, our spirit can't be away from this human body for longer periods of time.
Hmm.
There's not a time I can't sit there and tell you it's 32 minutes. I can't. Or I can't
Hmm.
say it's 11 and a half minutes and then that's it.
Hmm.
What I can say is that there's a point in time when if you do not call that body back, because I've heard over the years, I've seen over the years people having these dreams and then they're like trying to hug their loved ones and they never ever want to let go, there's somebody that I'd love to have a hug from. My grandfather, I'd love to contact, I'd
Hmm.
love to have a hug from him, and I would never want to let go. If I didn't let go and I didn't call my body back and I'm forced back into my body because now my body will start to have a reaction
Yeah.
and it'll get sick and it may shut down. I'm going to get sick when I get
Hmm.
back here to this human body
Yeah.
because my body is like it's tired. It's like it can't function
Yeah.
because that piece of their spirit were gone for too long.
And not only sick, like physically sick, your body's going to shut down. You're also going to be resentful. Like, hey, I didn't want to come back, and so
Right.
you can't make me fulfill my contract.
Right.
That's that's what happened when I was born. I looked at my mother and I said, I didn't ask to come here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happened to me when I had my implants in, my alien implants.
Yes.
Gosh, it's crazy when I talk about this. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's nuts, not Barb, but whatever. When I came here, my contract was I was signed by everybody from all the different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Had and it was almost like the council, star council that you have.
Yep. Yep.
And they were promised that I was not allowed to be tracked at all. And I had that happen where I've always had a big fear of aliens. I've had dreams where they're on top of me doing these things. And I was
Mm,
able to go back and figure out that they implanted stuff inside of me to track
mm,
me all through my lifetime, and they weren't supposed to. So they broke the law of the
hmm
dimension. So
hmm
they're not allowed to come near me. Um, so anyway, I remember that. I did not sign up for this until you broke your contract to me. I remember
hmm
that when I went back. I was only 4 years old
hmm
when that all happened to me, but they knew what they were doing, obviously. So that's when I talked about selenite coming from my body.
hmm
And I think that was one of the things that had happened. They had put a selenite tracker in me. But anyway, we're talking
mm,
about
mm,
contracts
hmm
and stuff.
hmm
And same thing, I did not ask for this, and you did it against my will. So my body became very weak.
hmm
And that could be around the time when I had that was around the time when I was having the stomach issues and the stomach cancer had appeared and I had to get that removed. So,
hmm
yeah. So I understand what you're
hmm
saying. But if you don't come back into your body, like you're like, oh, I just want to do this forever because you want to meet with that person,
hmm
you also give away that right to have it happen again.
hmm
Think about that.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed that hug or you enjoyed that conversation with that person because you're on your visit, that spirit, first of all, has gone through a lot to get there.
hmm
It's a lot for them to come back and visit us. It is and it isn't, but
hmm
to do that specific situation, they could have been on the other side in millennial. For us, it's like a life, like a year maybe or whatever it is.
hmm
So they had to work their way up to come and do that. If you want that again, both of you are going to have to work for that. But if you ruin it
Yeah.
by not wanting to go back into your body, you just
Yeah.
so as a doggy saying,
She's so tired, but she's not allowed on
I
the
know.
bed.
Ah,
No, not because of mom and dad or me. I would love to have her climb up the bed with me, but the other one says no.
mm-mm. No way, not today.
Poor
She
thing.
doesn't
She's
like
so
this.
sleepy, but she's not a cuddly puppy, and she doesn't snuggle enough. And I feel so bad for her because I just want to snuggle her. Me too.
So I guess like for lucid dreams, I guess if we just called it dreaming and lucid dreamings, and we could do another whole show about that, and I would promise that I won't go into the other stuff that I
The
wanted
other
to
stuff,
do.
yes, yeah,
And it was that one was very, very terrifying. Now there's a part of my body that's starting to ache. I won't tell you what part it is.
yeah, yeah. Don't.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, that's resonating at some point in me. So when I finish here, I'm gonna definitely smudge.
Yeah,
Um and yeah, I'm probably gonna listen to that clearing the clearing the parts of that are said or whatever. That
hmm
blah 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 blah. I can't attach my mouth back to it again.
yeah. I
But
mean, it was. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be able to even talk about it. Was
it
that was
I've
pretty
had
traumatic.
it's I've had and that I think that was probably I've had a couple like that.
Hmm
But like you had said, is it a lucid dreaming or was that somebody else's thoughts? Because I have told you the one where I was in the mind, what had happened. I think that one had to do with the church, but I'm not exactly sure. And there's been a few.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and
yeah,
unfortunately, that's part of my contract in this. That's part of it. I'm a healer. And so I have to
yeah,
figure out how I'm going to heal. And sometimes I have to heal myself as well, take the time
yeah,
to feel that. But if there's something that so I also want to say is that we have complete control. So dreams, whether it's a lucid dream, whether it's a past life dream, whether it's dreams in general, we have control because
mhm,
this is why we have this body. And that's why there's a spirit side and there's a human side to us.
mhm,
And we have control over that. We may not realize it, but if you are terrified in a dream, or that you feel like, you feel like, I don't want to be here,
Mhm.
just keep saying, I just don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to wake up. I want to wake up. And just keep saying it over and over again, because you can control that. So as long as you know you have control, it's like when you were saying you don't believe in ghosts, and
Mhm.
ghosts is like one of the paranormal things. And
Mhm.
that's what I say to people. It's not about that you don't believe in them. It's just keep saying them over and over again. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. Whatever that might look like. Ghosts are completely different from spirits. And I think
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
and I think ghosts have been sensationalized for the paranormal stuff.
Yes.
That
Exactly.
kind of,
Yeah.
you have Ghostbusters. And I think when we start talking about ghosts, people think spirits and ghosts are the same thing, or is my family a ghost, or whatever that is. And that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
So, yeah,
well. This has been another amazing conversation. And another hour has gone by. What the heck
I
did we
know.
do? What did we do to ourselves here? Anyway, so again, to get a hold of you, do you want to give your email? And
Yes. We'll give we'll post it down below.
because neither one of us can remember it.
I can't remember. I was
It's
going to
like
give
psychic
Lori
underscore touch at outlook.com.
.com.
And then the website is psychictouch.com or
I
.ca.
believe it's .ca.
Yeah, CA. Yes.
.ca.
I should know this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yes.
think it's .ca.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I'm
And
trying to find this now on my phone. Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. See how expert I am at knowing my own business?
That's okay. Let's see.
And I do Akashic Records journeys, which is a very unusual form of ancestral healing.
Hmm.
Some people will read your Akashic Records. I go with you to have that experience with you and help you through, to guide you through it. And so that's kind of what I do. I don't know if there's a job title next to that or
I
whatever.
would say you're an Akashic record reader, because anybody that everybody has a set of Akashic records, and they're like the records that are all about our lives, the lives that we're leading now, and the lives that we're going to lead in the future, and
Yes.
past lives and
Yep.
stuff, and about moments throughout those. And I'm an ancestral healer as well, because I go back the generations, and I do it differently from the Akashic records. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. But I do ancestral healing. So I'm able to heal what's happening in generations ago, to help with this generation, or help what's going
Mhm.
on now. Because there's
Yes.
definitely things that need to be healed. And
Yes.
just brought into your awareness, right? This is what's
Yeah.
going on. Because
Yeah.
we,
And so for
yeah,
those that don't know what Akashic Records is, it is a record of every single moment in existence, everything, every thought, every movement, every decision, everything in existence. And yeah, sorry to jump in there.
that's okay. But you know exactly what they are. So we've had this discussion about an Akashic records, and I have the knowledge or whatever, training or whatever, but I'm not an Akashic record reader.
Yeah.
That
And so,
I'm a
yeah, and
past
I
life.
just kind of fell on this technique by accident. So it's a very, wow,
It
I feel
fascinates.
honored. I feel honored that I'm allowed to do this. I get to meet your spirit guide. I get, if you're an alien,
See,
I get to meet your aliens. I get to meet your soul tribe. I get to do all this with you.
mm,
If you have, and I've taken people in there who had no belief in it whatsoever. And so I take them in. I'll give you an example. I had this one woman, she was from New York City, and she didn't believe in this stuff at all. And
yeah,
so I said, well, okay, if I can't, if you don't see anything, if you don't come up with anything, you don't have to pay me. And she's like, deal. And so we spent 2 hours going and just touring around the fields
mhm,
and And I asked her, I said, okay, why is the letter M, this giant letter M, it's just being drawn like big Sharpie markers in front of me? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know. I said, it's big and I can smell the marker. Who was doing that? Who was making me see this big M? And I said, it's attached to you somehow. She had no idea. When we came back, when we came out of meditation, I said, okay, I need to know because I can still smell the marker. And she's like, well, I didn't want to say anything because it was kind of scary. She lifted up her sleeve and there's a big M on her
Mm,
sleeve for her mother's first name.
mhm.
And I said, well, you could have said that while we were in there.
Right.
That's your that was it. But but yeah, so that's what I do. I'll go in with you. If you're scared, I'm there. I will go with you and I will guide you and I will help protect you and I will encourage you. And it's very similar to lucid dreaming
Mhm.
because we have full control over everything that we're doing. And it is amazing. But we need to do that. I know we keep saying that, but we need to do this.
Well, you could actually, if you want to do it live, we could do it live,
For
or we could,
you,
yeah,
I know I know it sounds like a great idea. However, there if people are listening, they might
yeah,
go into meditation and they might not know how to come
true.
back out.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I did have an
Yeah,
experience with
I've,
that.
yeah, and I've had experience with people reading my Akashic as well
Hmm.
for show, and I've pieces of my own and so on. I like to find out about my soul tribe, and
Hmm.
I've had a galactic record reading.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
I've been,
okay.
yeah, they're that's a thing. Found out what
Hmm.
planets I've come in from, and that's how I found out I'm not from Moldova. Yeah.
Yes,
Anyway.
I've met my family, and I don't know if you remember the story where I met the Azrael, the
Mm-hmm.
angel of death, and all the only thing I knew was that it was Grim Reaper. That's what it looked like.
Mm, yeah.
And so when I went to meet my soul tribe, my
Mm,
galactic family, I and it was like this big auditorium,
mm.
and I walked in, and there was this man sitting there. He looked like Obi-Wan Kenobi from the the Star Trek movies with the
I've
long
seen
hair and
that
the
guy.
ponytail.
He's actually on
Anyway,
the Galactic Council that was part of my contract.
yeah, he's beautiful, beautiful soul, and I see him anytime I am in dire straits, he shows up, and yeah, so I have a feeling that this particular man is he's the one that follows me around everywhere, and so when we do have a guest coming, I'm just things keep happening, and we don't end up connecting at the perfect time. So we're going to be
Mm,
talking about love across timelines. And so
mm,
that's what keeps reminding. Anyway, so this particular man, he is my love across the timelines. And and as I'm coming into this big auditorium, I'm gonna go down onto the stage because there was one woman uh dressed in white. She was very tall. She must have been about 8 feet tall. Her head was really, really long. She's a beautiful woman, but
mm.
very authoritarian. She's very strict. And so I'm trying to go down the stairs and she stopped. She's like, "What are you doing here?" And I turned around and I looked at this crowd and I looked in the far, far corner and here is Azrael up in the top
Wow.
corner, just kind of hiding. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And Azrael just like, "I don't know. I was just told to be here." And
That's
and
funny.
I said, "Well, you better make sure you stay up there. You don't come near me." Anyway, I go down on the stage and I have a conversation with her. She opens up the side door to the stage,
Mhm.
and that's where I saw this beautiful nebula. It was absolutely beautiful. It was um, uh, like sage color and some pink and some yellows and very soft colors and it was one of these really long ones and it had all these twinkling lights in here and I said, "What are those twinkling lights?" And she says, "That's you. Those that's us." That's your soul tribe right there. All these twinkling lights we think are the suns and the moons and all this. That's not it. That's
That's not
us.
it at all.
Those are our souls. Those
And in our culture, we believe that the stars are souls and
yeah,
spirits. And so those are some of them are waiting to come back into life. And some of them are waiting to come in life for the first time because
yes.
there's billions and billions and billions of them.
And that's exactly what I saw. That's all these lights you think are stars and just rocks. So those are souls waiting to waiting for their next job.
Right,
So
exactly. There it's and
anyway,
what a way to
I could go on and
so could I.
you and I we could talk for hours now. I know
We
we
know.
can, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at the clock and I don't want to make this too long. If you like what we're doing, please share. I love people to share. Please subscribe. We're up to a whole 8 subscribers right now.
Woohoo! 8 subscribers.
Eight, yay!
And I think one of them
Uh,
might be my mother, and maybe the other one might
and
be my
me,
sister, and then
I'm
you, and
one.
then me. So I got 4 subscribers.
So anyway, please like, share, subscribe, everything. It's free. Come in. If you ever want to come in and join the conversation, we'd love to have you. Just shoot us a line. I'll put my contact info in there with Lori's, and you get a hold of me. Make sure
Yep.
that everything is all
And
organized, lined up, and we can have a conversation, and it'll be fun.
I also have a really lovely person that's going to come on at some point in time. Her name is Kara, and
Mhm.
Kara's my assistant. She does all the background work is for us, so for me, and yeah,
Yes, Kara's awesome.
we're all
Love
we're
her.
all a team here,
We're yeah.
and it's not just me. Like I can't look this good on my own. Joking. Oh my God.
I know. Well,
Um,
I straightened my
right.
hair.
Like, getting my hair done tomorrow, so thank God. But it's like I've always said we're a team, and that's I can't do every one of us has their own gifts, and
Yes.
yeah, we're a team. And Kara doesn't believe that she has any gifts, but she totally has probably the gifts that she hasn't discovered yet. Her
Every,
gift curiosity.
every time she is talking, I think my mind is blown again. Like
Yeah,
I
she's
didn't know
just
you were doing
sparkle.
that, and then she's doing this and that and this and that. Like, and she's a tiny little person.
Yeah, and
She's so
she
teensy.
just sparkles like
Yes,
crazy.
yes. So anyway, she is going to come on with us, and again, if you want to come on with us, please do. Bring us a topic that you love to talk about. It's fun. We're laid back. This isn't like a big professional setting with the big
And
microphones and
yeah,
big head. Yeah, we're just.
yeah, we're not
I'm
doing that.
from the waist down. I'm in my pajamas. So there you go. That's how
I am
professional.
not. I'm in my jeans, but I also want to say that if this video, if you're watching it, there was a trigger warning earlier. We're probably going to cut pieces of that out,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you have any more questions or you want me to elaborate on lucid dreaming or the tangent that I went off on, feel free
So
to ask.
have a great night. Have a
Bye.
great night.
See ya.